have you ever asked how much does it actually cost to start an online business? Or have you ever wondered, is it possible to start if you only have like $1,000 or less? If so, this is the video for you because we'll be actually breaking down the numbers so you can see what could be possible with $1,000 or less. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, the scenario usually goes that you want to make more money, so you start to study ways to make more money and you hear about starting an online business. So you start to come up with your ideas and doing your research, and then you start seeing lots of videos about things like affiliate marketing or drop shipping or e-commerce or selling services or handmade products. There's so many things that you can do online, and then there's so many tools that you can buy. But it's likely that if you're here, you want to know, what do you actually need to buy in order to make an online business? So many people experience that scenario, and some people have lots more hiccups along the way because they try trusting advisors, buying courses, or buying software only to rack up lots of money in unnecessary expenditures. So that's why I'm doing this video, to show you what are the actual necessary expenses versus what are the ones that are just extra or even a little high in comparison to what you need. So over the last 2 years, I've been able to start an online business that makes money and that's fulfilling. And I bumped my head many times along the way when I trusted people and bought unnecessary things. But through all of that, I've been able to streamline a list of things that are necessary to start an online business. And I know that costs can vary when you choose different vendors and various things, but I want to share my experience and knowledge with you so you can successfully start your online business without many of the obstacles that exist with other business owners. So, hi, my name is Tiffany Domina. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my website is howtoentrepreneur.org, and my mission is to help you start a business from idea to enterprise. So if you or someone you know wants to start or grow a business, definitely stop by howtoentrepreneur.org and check out all the free resources. So now, your personal finances are going to directly affect your business. So the illustration above shows that many people start out in some type of situation where they're looking for ways to make more money, and they might be in some sort of financial distress, and you may be able to relate to this. You might have growing expenses because you've went through a lot of life transition. So a lot of people that I've worked with before went through different life transitions, like they've decided to get out of debt, they've decided to take control of their finances, they have growing kids, they might have just had a baby, they've just been fired or laid off, they're not where they wanted to be in terms of retirement, or they're looking for ways to supplement their retirement income. They might have gotten a raise and they want to just simply find the highest possible returns with their money. And they also may have gotten married or divorced. I've seen quite a few clients going through marriage or divorce, and that brings a lot of changes in income. They might have just moved. They might have adopted a child or loved one. They could be taking care of a parent, or they just simply want to improve their standard of living. These are all common reasons that I've personally seen people decide to start an online business. Now, when I'm interacting with startup entrepreneurs who are interested in starting an online business, these are common situations. So they're transitioning and they're looking for ways to make a better future for themselves. Unfortunately, some situations are a little more difficult to start a business from than others. They require a lot more discipline and a lot more hard work and sacrifice. And so some people start with a personal finance situation that's in distress. For example, they might be starting with high housing costs, high debt repayment costs, insufficient income for their expenses, high or growing medical costs, high lifestyle costs, and overall an extensive list of bills. And now this is something that happens, and for some people they have the choice to get a job and then work on the business on the side or various things like that. If you have the option, it's probably better to avoid robbing Peter to pay Paul. In other words, you don't want to start the business and you're really struggling and unable to pay for basic necessities. Now, if you don't have an option around that, then you may still have to make the extra sacrifices and figure out how you can finagle your money around to grow your income over time as you are finding your way to take care of the expenses. It can be stressful, but if you can avoid the stress, then I say that getting a job or finding an alternate income source would be the best way to start a business. Because a business starts out with money. It requires money starting out, and then it'll give you returns after you've invested money and after you've invested time and work into it. So business is kind of like farming in the sense that you have to plant the seeds and water and invest before it'll yield back a return for you. And it's really no way around that. There are ways to minimize the cost, the upfront cost, but there's really no way to expedite the returns or to have a get rich quick type of thing. Business takes some level of risk. So there will be some risk, and it's not nearly as predictable as a job. With a job, you know that if you work a certain amount of hours, you get a certain amount of pay back. With a business, it's like, is the market demanding what you offer? Are you resonating with the market? It's a lot of various things. So jobs are going to be much more predictable if you're in financial distress right now and you need income right now. Then I would definitely recommend a job first and possibly the business on the side. Now, with a startup business, you like I said, you don't necessarily know how much you'll be paid and when. You can forecast and you can speculate, but you really don't have concrete answers. You can be optimistic based on the results of others or based on milestones that you've met, but there's still no concrete answer to when you'll start to make money. It depends on your skill level, how much money you're investing, what the market demand and supply is, how the market resonates with your brand and your offering, and so much more. So business comes with risk. And like I said before, I recommend starting a business on the side and replacing your primary income with the business as it grows. This will give you much more stability along the way, and you'll be able to learn how to run your business without the stress and the desperation of trying to cover your next meal or your mortgage payment. Now, I will say that some people do start out in distress and they're able to work their way out. So if you're in distress and this is your only way of providing an income for yourself, don't give up. There are options for you, and you can still make your way out of your distress situation, and you can start and grow a business that helps you to make your way out of a distress situation. I've seen it and I've witnessed it, and so you can do it. Now, as you're building your business on the side, you should also be incorporating habits like budgeting, because this habit and your ability to exhibit self-control will transfer over to your business and make you more likely to thrive. I have some recommended reading or some videos that you can check out. One of my videos is how to do a business budget with EveryDollar. I think the EveryDollar app is really easy to use, so you can start to budget your personal finances or your business finances. And I also like the You Need a Budget software. They also call it YNAB or YNAB. Now, that software comes along with video courses and workshops and things like that that you can attend to learn about personal finance and how to budget. So if you're interested in YNAB, definitely go to howtoentrepreneur.org/YNAB and check that out. So I want to talk to you about normal online business expenses. So if you look at income reports that share income and expenses, you'll notice that successful entrepreneurs have a pattern with the expenses that are normally needed. And these are, this is a list of common expenses that you'll see with online business owners. Education is one, because you have to learn how to rank in the search engines, how to do ads, how to connect with people with different tools than what you would have offline. So that requires education. Advertising. A lot of people invest in ads, whether it's Google ads, whether it's Microsoft ads, whether it's Facebook ads or YouTube ads, or there's all kinds of places that you can have ads that will drive traffic to your business. And advertising is a normal cost of online business. Cost of goods or product development. Now, depending on what service or what product you decide to sell, sometimes you may need inventory, sometimes you may need labor costs to help with developing products, sometimes you may need to pay distributor fees, and maybe you have to pay for shopping cart software and various things that you need in order to be able to distribute your goods. So there's lots of things that fall into that category and fall under cost of goods or product development. Then you have business space. You have business travel, business food, consulting, paying yourself, paying contractors, paying employees, insurance, tools, equipment, business events, networking groups, or masterminds. And I'm sure there are more things that I could have listed if I took more time on it. But these are pretty routine online business expenses that you'll see for a wide variety of people. And all of these expenses will vary depending on the vendors that are used, or what you decide to use for each line item. But this is a general breakdown of what the costs are to start and to run an online business. And you don't have to start with everything up front. But if your personal finances don't allow you to invest the startup capital into your business, you can start off with more of a streamlined list and then go up from there. So I said this is the cost, but it's not the cost. That's just a list. And then I'll get into the cost in a few minutes. So how much does it cost to start an online business? I want to get deeper into that. So you probably want to know the numbers, what the actual cost is. So let's talk about that. First, the education cost. Education is one of the expenses that seems to vary a lot for online businesses. You can find some course creators who charge $19 to teach you things like search engine optimization, and then you can find another course creator who's charging $9.97 or more to teach the same topic. So it can be really confusing to decide who to get your education from, and also what the cost should be, because it's really not like managed. It's a wide range. So the more expensive courses will definitely tell you why their course is worth more. But at the end of the day, you have some people who pay lower for the same topics that some people are paying 100 times the price for. So the online business education platform that I recommend for startup entrepreneurs costs $359 a year. They include education, live and recorded, one-on-one coaching, and the software tools, hosting, domain registration, networking, and other things that'll be on your list of must-have tools to run your business. So that's a cool thing about that suite that I recommend. So after doing lots and lots of reviews, I've seen that typically these services are broken up into pieces, and collectively you can pay a lot for them. But I like the suite and the combination, and it's really a high value for the price. So that's why I like to recommend that business education platform. So I'll leave information about that in the description box below for you to find out more. Now, Let's move on to advertising. So advertising is going to be optional until revenue is generated. You'll find some people who say advertising is going to be mandatory from day one. I'm not one of those people, and it is going to be a preference. Advertising is a normal cost for running online business, but a lot of people don't come to online business with the knowledge of advertising. And if they jump into advertising right away, you can really lose a lot of money if you don't understand the platforms well, if you don't have a background in copywriting, if you don't know the techie stuff to use the advertising platforms, if you aren't familiar with buyer psychology and how people interact with ads, you can lose a lot of money. And so if you are trying to start a business on a streamlined budget, then I wouldn't recommend you starting out advertising. Instead, I would recommend you starting out with organic search engine optimization and organic social media marketing. Now, these two methods of meeting customers and attracting customers is becoming more and more popular. So as a result, there is more competition for the same audience. So it is necessary to find a leg up at some point, and advertising can give you that. So online business owners are having a tougher and tougher time trying to rank and trying to build an audience for free, regardless of where they try. Facebook doesn't show organic posts as much as they did before. Google has more content to choose from when they're making their first page listing. YouTube has a growing number of creators, and the competition is definitely growing more and more. So that's another reason why you should jump in now, because you still have an advantage in comparison to people who start maybe next year or the year after. It'll be more crowded. But it's not just a matter of slapping together an article anymore. At one point, quality didn't really matter. You could write the same words over and over and get a ranking in the search engines. Now the artificial intelligence is too smart for the old school games that used to be played. So you have to have content that's better than others to rank better. And the competition is becoming more and more skilled. So you have to stay at the forefront of content creators by being agile and being willing to outwork, to outthink, and to outsmart your competitors. And sometimes outthinking means paying for ads. Advertising platforms like Facebook, Google, YouTube, and other places like that are great places to attract an audience from. Now, the cost for advertising will range. I recommend you advertise with a percentage of your startup capital if your startup budget can cover more than 1 year of your business expenses with the ad costs included. But if you don't have a large startup budget, I recommend you focus on organic methods and build an advertising budget from your revenue. Now, unfortunately for advertising, there's really no specific dollar amount because it ranges based on the industry, based on the market you're trying to target. It ranges based on a lot of things, but it's typically more than the $5 a day that you'll see a lot of people telling you that you need. It's a lot of trial and error to be successful with advertising. And I say if you're looking to try advertising, that you should look at tools like SpyFu. You can go to howtoentrepreneur.org/SpyFu and check that out. Or you can look at SEMrush, and you can go to howtoentrepreneur.org/SEMrush to check that out. And both of those softwares will help you analyze what your competitors are paying per click for their ads, and how much volume they might be getting in traffic from those ads, how many clicks they might be getting. So you can analyze the cost per click on the keywords that you want to bid for, or the cost per impression. But at the end of the day, advertising is still going to be some level of trial and error. And so I've used a roundabout budget of $500 a month for 10 months, which is $5,000. But again, it's optional. It's an optional startup cost. It may not be optional next year, but as for right now, it's an optional startup cost because you still can be successful with search engine optimization and with organic social media marketing and using those together to drive traffic to your website. Now, the cost of goods and product development, this is going to range a lot because there's lots of different business models. You can start with e-commerce, affiliate marketing, selling services, hand-making products, outsourcing product development, and the list really goes on and on. So your decision for how you're going to solve a market problem will come with costs. For me, I started 3 of the most inexpensive methods of starting an online business. I started a freelancing business, I started an affiliate marketing business, and I started self-publishing books. Now, these each had different costs, and I'll break down some of those. For my freelance digital marketing business, I needed market research tools, credits for freelance sites, a lot of them. If you want to bid on requests for proposal from clients, then you have to have credits. And so I would pay for those credits so that I can bid on potential projects. I needed accounting software so that I could send invoices. Travel, sometimes I would meet up live with clients and pay for travel expenses. Sometimes I joined networking groups and things like that so that I can meet potential clients. So there were networking fees. Sometimes I went to networking events and those had costs. I paid for lunches and coffees to build rapport with clients, and that has a cost. So these are some costs that might come along with a freelance business. Now, when I decided to do self-publishing, there were completely different costs. I was wanting editors to look over my my writing to make sure that the book read well. I had proofreaders. I paid graphic designers to help with book covers and to help with interior layout of the book. I had social media automation tools that I would use to send out posts and let people know about specials and things I was doing with the books. So these were some costs that came along with self-publishing. And then as an affiliate marketer, I've paid for video equipment, SEO and market research software, web hosting, web design tools, and lots of different things. So as you can see, each different business model may have different tools, and then you might just have things that you feel comfortable using. So you might spend more on video equipment than I have. So it's a lot of variance. You'll see some YouTubers that have spent more on video equipment, some YouTubers that spend more on market research software. Some people spend a different amount for hosting and travel, and it's just so many variables that it wouldn't be a real way to say this is the cost for it. Each business model is going to be different. And then each entrepreneur's skills are going to be different also. So you may feel comfortable designing your own book covers and writing your own content, and another entrepreneur would absolutely dread that. So a business model may be very cheap for one person, but it won't be very cheap for another person. The cost of goods is going to vary by your skill, your business model, the tools and vendors that you feel comfortable using, the amount you need to outsource, the volume you plan to buy, and lots of other things. So for this budget, let's say you start out as an affiliate marketer, so you don't have products, and instead your services to generate leads for your affiliate partners in exchange for a commission. So the startup's costs are going to be really low. And I'm just using this scenario to show you how you can possibly start an online business inexpensively. So you'd only need web hosting, a domain name, knowledge of what you're doing, support for when you have questions, and possibly web design stuff to make a nice user experience. So I say actually the cost is going to be closer to $400, considering that you have your hosting, but you also have to buy your domain name. So then you have business space. So now you might be thinking that since you're starting an online business, you don't have to worry about business space, right? But at some point, you may want to consider this expense. Even if you work from home, you may not always want to use your home address on things like email marketing, on business cards, when you're with clients, or even on your website. So for the sake of privacy, you may at some point want to at least get a P.O. box or a working space. And you can choose an inexpensive mailbox at the post office. You can choose a virtual mailbox, or you can choose to rent office space. Some people rent business space for networking. So their space may have events and various things. So they pay for the space and it has more than one purpose. And some choose to get the space because they want privacy. And others do it to protect their focus from distractions. So for this startup budget, let's say you decide to grow an email list and you don't want to put your address on your emails. So you get a P.O. box. Now a P.O. box costs somewhere around $200 a year. And so let's use that and modify that number with your feedback. So for business travel, this is going to be optional until revenue is generated. The online entrepreneur life that I'm sure you've seen lots of people who show their luxurious life online. They travel and on and on and on. Now, in reality, many online entrepreneurs like to live stationary and they travel locally to meet up with potential joint venture partners or collaborators. So the scope can vary quite a bit. You can have the person who travels all the time, and even travel may be a part of their business. Like maybe they're a travel blogger, and so they travel and put their photos and things up. And then you can have the other person who's simply traveling to attend local business events or to meet collaborators. There's a big range that could happen. But if your goal is to run a business where you travel a lot to handle business affairs, obviously that's going to make business travel a much bigger number. But for me, I travel only small amounts, and I may attend a business event and travel there. So I've also traveled to meet with clients that I may do services for, and my business expenses when it comes to travel are fairly low. So maybe in future years, I might decide to go to seminars or various things, then the travel expenses would go up. So for the sake of budgeting this startup, I say that travel expenses would be $100 or less. Now, when it comes to food, this is again going to be optional until revenue is generated. But with some business models, you may want to buy lunches for clients and various things to build that rapport. And that's when this would be ideal. So this isn't saying that while you're working from home, you're ordering pizza every day and taking the money from the business to buy the pizza. No. This is saying that you go out for coffee with a client or a potential collaborator and you decide to take the bill. So depending on the business model you choose, you may or may not need to pay for food as a business expense. With freelancing, this was an expense that I wanted to budget. But for affiliate marketing, it's not something that I've really done much of. So for most startups, food is going to be a zero. And more established businesses may want to sponsor events and do various things. And so this cost may go up as your business grows. Now, in terms of consulting, the odds are as a startup, you don't know all the ins and outs of legal, accounting, bookkeeping, or marketing. So consulting may be something you want to budget for. There may be even more things that you're not 100% confident about, but they're required to run a business. And this is where consultants come in. You can go to an accountant to discuss various business finance matters, including what normal online business costs may be. And you can go to attorneys to find out what business structure you should have or what a privacy policy should include. There's so many questions you might have while you're starting your business, and consultants can really help, but they do come at a cost. So many training programs also provide some level of consulting. And again, that's why I like to recommend the training program that I do, is because they offer you help with somebody who's more established than you. Now, a lot of times like when you sign up for other training programs, the help is not going to be tailored to you. It might be a course that the course creator made on something like search engine optimization. It doesn't come with like an audit so they can actually see what the problems are with your search engine optimization. So, for me, I've hired consultants to start my business, to help with starting my business, and it was a good cost. And I spent about $2,000 on consultants, and I started paying consultants when I was not, before I made revenue. Now it's up to you to decide if it's a necessary cost for you. I'd say you probably should spend about $1,000 to $2,000 on consultants, because you really want to be clear about, you want to make sure you incorporate correctly. You want to make sure you understand how you keep your books clean and all that stuff with your finances, so that you are reporting to the IRS or whatever tax authorities are in your country. And so the consulting budget will make sure that all of those things can be addressed. And also, when you are starting a business online, it can be really quiet for a while, and a lot of startup entrepreneurs quit because they don't have anybody that tells them this is absolutely normal, this is what search engine optimization is like, or this is how you should run your ads. So they don't have consultants that they can turn to. So I would say having a budget set aside for legal consulting, accounting, and marketing consulting really could be invaluable to you and your business. Like I said, they can talk to you and make sure that the way you're doing things, specifically you, is going well. And now paying yourself, this is going to come after revenue is generated. But I wanted to point out that you do cost something, because you have bills to pay and various things. So a lot of people who are starting businesses say that because they're working in the business that it doesn't cost anything, the labor cost is free. But that's not true. So this labor cost is still there even while your business isn't generating anything. You just wouldn't be paying yourself, but it is there. And while you are waiting on the business to generate income, that's when you'd be reliant on a job, relying on family, friends, loans, equity deals, fundraisers, or various things to bring in that money so that the business can run. Now, contractors, this is also another thing that helps to grow the business and to build that leverage. But a lot of times as a startup entrepreneur, it's not a good idea to start by paying contractors. Some people, instead of investing the money in things like tools and equipment, will start out investing their money in paying contractors. And you can really waste a lot of money like this. Now, for this reason, I say you should start a business that leverages skills you already have or interests that you already have, so that you don't feel the need to hire too early. And paying employees, this is again once revenue is generated, once you're paying yourself reasonably, and once your working capital can sustain 3 to 6 months of wages, even if sales dropped. And I say this because employees are looking for stability. They're different than contractors. When you hire a contractor, a contractor has their own business, so they're constantly looking for sales and new contracts. So if you're not able to pay them next month, then they're okay with finding another customer who can replace that income. With employees, it's quite a bit different because they're looking for stability, they're looking for consistency, they're looking for benefits, and they're looking for something predictable. Now, when you hire employees, you want to make sure that you have something that's stable for them, stable enough that they can have what they're looking for. And that's why I recommend you saving before hiring employees. And it's not a good cost to start out with unless you really have enough to stabilize your business, stabilize your own income, and stabilize them as well. Insurance is going to be to protect you. But a lot of times when you're starting out, you don't have assets or you don't have liabilities. You don't really have anything to protect. So insurance is going to be more necessary once you have assets and once you have liabilities to protect. As far as tools and equipment, for an online business, you're definitely going to need a computer, possibly a smartphone would be great, cameras, other tools. You might also need software, backdrops, lighting, tools and equipment can vary quite a bit. There's so many different video marketing setups or ways that you can set up your blogging area, blogging tools you can use. And so I just gave a roundabout budget of $1,000 to $2,000 when it comes to business events. In my first year, I went to all kinds of business events. I attended Chamber of Commerce events, business meetups, and lots of classes at places like Launch SA, which is a business center here in San Antonio, Texas. Now, they helped me a lot to build my confidence, to get ideas from other entrepreneurs, and to build my network. But business events are going to be optional expenses. They worked really well for me. But if you're trying to decide if you need to attend business events to start an online business, then I would say no. At some point, you'll want a budget for business events, but you don't have to do that as a startup expense. Now, finally, networking groups and masterminds. So even though I say business events are optional, I really think that networking is not optional. So regardless of what you're trying to be successful at, whether it's parenting, whether it's marriage, or whether it's business, it's really important to become a part of a community of like-minded people. And starting an online business isn't something that you should really try doing alone and unsupported. So it can take you a long time to troubleshoot when you attempt to build a business without help. So for me, I tried piecing information together to run an online business, and I feel like that slowed my progress. So once I joined a community of online business owners, things took off much faster. And for some communities, they require monthly or annual dues for participation. Others have discounts and other perks along with participation. For the number one online community that I recommend, they give you discounts, perks, software, and participation with a 2 million member online entrepreneur community. So let's add it all up. So I've listed everything. The costs that aren't optional include education, the cost of service delivery or product development. So I have $400 for education. That can range between $4,000 and $10,000. But I am recommending that you invest the $359 through Wealthy Affiliate. They have, as far as cost of service delivery or product development, again, that can range quite a bit. But if you get your education from Wealthy Affiliate, then you'll also be able to get the tools that you need to start out as an affiliate marketer. So you wouldn't have to add in that another cost for this here. As far as consulting, This can be postponed until revenue is generated. So you don't necessarily have to incorporate from day one, and you don't have to seek a tax accountant on day one, but you definitely want to do that as soon as you start generating revenue, so that you'll know how to manage your books and things like that. And if you can do it earlier, go for it. But if you can't do it, then definitely make sure to do it when the business can afford that. So as far as tools and equipment, this can be postponed until revenue is generated. So you may want things like lighting, you may want cameras, you may want microphones, you may want a better computer, and various things. All of the tools and equipment, a lot of them can be postponed. Even software, maybe you want things like page builders or funnel software or various things that I see people spend money on. It's not necessary starting out. For networking groups or masterminds, again, this cost can be a zero if you start out at Wealthy Affiliate, because they have a huge networking community, and I'll leave a link in the description box below where you can check it out for free, so you can see what I'm talking about without entering any billing information. And I really want you to see that, because you can actually start your business for really low startup costs. So when you add it all together, I have something like $2,400 on the low side, and $19,000 on the higher side as a startup. But the cool thing is that you don't have to start with all of the money up front. Like the consulting costs and the tools and equipment, all of those things, you can wait until you start to generate revenue to start to acquire the different equipment that'll make your user experience and your customers have an even better experience with you. Now, whether you are a mom and pop type of business, or you are planning to be the next Google or Microsoft, it doesn't matter. You can start with a small budget and with sales, hard work, and good strategy, and really make a great business. Now, if possible, and you can start out with a budget, it's good to set aside something like at least $200 a month, and start to invest in your business little by little. If you can forecast that much from your personal finances, then you'll be able to really develop quickly. But if you can't start with something like $200 a month, then you have to bargain shop you have to bargain shop more. You have to find inexpensive options more. You have to maybe delay on service delivery and product development until you have more to invest in your business. The tools and the equipment, the networking groups, all of those things may have to wait until you have more to invest in your business, but definitely start with what you have. So don't let any of this deter you from starting. These are all approximations. I've seen people inside of Wealthy Affiliate who start their online businesses with domain registration, with the hosting that's included there, and with the training that's included there. And they've been able to start their businesses for $49 a month or $359 a year, and buy all of the other things over time by investing from their personal finances and their business revenue. So it is possible to start with even $50 a month. Now, hopefully this list gave you a ballpark of what types of expenses to expect and the ranges of what to expect that it'll cost you to start an online business. There's lots of variations with this, but if you have questions or concerns, you can definitely leave your questions or concerns below this video, or you can stop by howtoentrepreneur.org and leave questions there. Definitely thank you for watching this video. thank you for stopping by my channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.